Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 15 super hyped, super popular designer handbags that I personally will not be buying and the reasons why. Before we get started, I want to say if you happen to own any of these bags and you're loving them and you're enjoying them, do not let my opinions stand in the way. I am literally just me, myself, and I sharing my thoughts on why I personally would not buy these bags, because for fashion and luxury, it all comes down to personal style and personal aesthetic, right? So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, the first bag that I want to talk about is this Prada crystal bag from their re-edition collection. This bag has been all over social media for the past couple of years, and I have seen so many YouTubers, both big and small, unbox this bag, and it's also all over Instagram. And you know what? I understand because in an Instagram-driven world, this bag is highly photogenic. So let's get a really good look at this. It's actually a very simple design with just one short shoulder strap, but it's blinged out with crystals front, back, and bottom. So it's literally an explosion of crystals. It is very eye-catching. It is definitely eye candy. And when it comes to the influencer's life, you think about it. You are literally photographing yourself constantly with your different looks and outfits. And you want to have something that's really sort of eye-catching that will level up your look, right? So this bag is going to do that. If you have it on the crook of your arm or on your shoulder, it is going to grab your attention. But for me, and for probably most of us, this bag is not practical. It's not very versatile in how you can use it and wear it. And it's very loud. It's quite... I want to say it's tacky in my eyes. Please don't be offended if you like this bag, but I do feel like because it's so loud, it's tacky. For me, it's a very fine line between bold and tacky, and because I tend to be more into classics and more neutrals and more of a muted wardrobe, I cannot see myself using or wearing this bag in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how I would style it, so it's definitely not for me. Also, I have to say, it's not a cheap bag, but in my eyes, it looks cheap, and I think because the crystals look like fake rhinestones, meaning like they might just start popping off, and when and if they start popping off, this bag is going to look pretty gnarly. It's not going to look so cool anymore. So I don't know, there's the tackiness and there's like the cheap look of it. Again, this is just me, so I would never add this bag to my collection, but I understand that it really works for many other people, so to each their own. Then we've got the Bottega Veneta Jody bag. This bag is super cute. It's a little dumpling, right? And this green, let's talk about this green. I feel like Bottega really nailed it with this shade of green. It's like a grass green. It's very much spring, fresh, right? It's just gorgeous. And this has become like the it color for Bottega since what, a year or two ago? So I understand how cute this bag is, and it does photograph well again for influencers, but for me personally, I don't see how this is going to work. It's, again, not very versatile. You just have to carry it in your hand. It's got a tiny little short strap. It's got a half moon shape, so the things that you put inside are probably going to bunch up in the center of the bag. I prefer my bags to be more structured, and I prefer also for my bags to be able to stand up on their own. This might be able to balance on its own, but it's not going to be a structured bottom, so I feel like this bag is a novelty. Bag number 3 is the Louis Vuitton heart bag. Actually, any heart-shaped bag. It could be from Chanel or Prada or Gucci. Gucci recently released a new heart-shaped bag for their Valentine's Day collection. So we've got hearts everywhere. And who doesn't love hearts? It's a universal symbol of love, right? So you got the warm and fuzzy feelings, and it's super sweet. And I could see if you dress very sort of feminine, you can wear this heart-shaped bag and really just, I don't know, feel so cute and dainty and ultra femme, right? However, I can't get over the thought that these bags look like they're made for a 5-year-old, and it's because I have a daughter, probably. My daughter actually has a heart-shaped bag, and she's had it ever since she was like maybe in kindergarten. And so for me, it's like this mental block. I can't see a grown woman wearing a heart bag. Well, I can see grown women wearing a heart bag, but just not me, if that makes sense. And also from a design standpoint, here's Jerusha. She looks so happy with hers. The heart shape, if you can see at the bottom, it tapers, right? So I'm trying to think, if I put my items in this bag, how is everything going to flow? It's going to all like just point at the bottom? Is it going to be like a jumbled pile at the bottom? Is it organized inside? I don't know. Each one of these is probably designed in their own unique way with a different configuration. But if it's just like one big compartment, I'm going to imagine that all of my items are just going to sink to that sort of cone or that tip at the bottom, and that is not going to be fun for me. So for all these reasons, I will not be adding a heart-shaped bag. Then you've got the Dior book tote, and so many people have recommended this book tote to me, and it's a hard no. If you've ever actually picked one up, you'll know that in all of the sizes, they're heavy. They're pretty heavy. It's a lot of fabric. It's very thick, and they're not light in any way, shape, or form. And it's called a book tote, so I imagine you can stack a bunch of books in there, but books are heavy. So I don't see the logic in carrying a big, heavy tote bag that is going to get even heavier with a bunch of books. It's not practical. And by the way, it's all fabric, so it's going to get dirty. You know, when you set it down, it's going to touch something dirty on the ground or on a table or wherever you put it. It's going to get dirty from your hands. I even saw that some people are adding twillies to the handles. So literally you're putting fabric wrap on top of fabric material because you're concerned that the original fabric is going to get dirty. To me, that's just way too much work, way too much thinking. I do think that the designs and the intricacy in the details of the designs is pretty cool. Dior does details really well. And as you can see here, there's so many different patterns they've come out with and multiple different sizes. But again, no, because of the material, because of the weight, because of the impractical way it's designed, it's wide open. It's a gaping bag. If it tips over, all your stuff will fall out of it. So this is also a hard no for me. Oh man, this one's going to be controversial. I can feel it already. So bag number 5 is the Chanel 19. I was so surprised when they made this a classic or part of the classic collection going forward, because I was like, huh? To me, I still don't get it. I know this bag has been incredibly popular and it probably will continue to be popular. I know that a lot of you rave about how it's really comfortable and it's smushy and it can be worn crossbody a lot more comfortably than the Chanel Classic flaps because it has a longer chain strap. I get it, and I have friends who have this bag and they rave about it too. To me, the minute I saw this bag, I thought, whoa, too much going on. Too much on the chain. The chain's also heavy. There's lots of different colors of metals on the chain. And then when I looked at this CC turn lock, it's definitely eye-catching and very interesting, but the first thing that I thought of was a spider, like a tarantula. I don't know why. The details on it made me think of a tarantula. So this is a no-go for me. It's also too slouchy. I prefer the classic flaps with the hard bottom. Again, I'm just into structure. It's a personal preference. So I feel like if I were to use this bag, it would get really slouchy over time and then it would start to drive me crazy, aside from all the other issues that I mentioned. So Chanel 19, not happening for me. Another really popular bag is the Dior Saddle Bag. For some reason, this has never caught my eyes, at least not in the right way. It's all over the place with influencers, but here we go again. It's not structured or symmetrical, and I can't have it stand on its own. So that right there is just going to be annoying to me. But also, I think about when I put my hand in there, like you see this here? I'm going to zoom in on this. This is what the opening looks like. So it's not a very generous opening, at least in my eyes. And because the shape is asymmetrical, again, my items are probably going to slide on one side maybe and sort of accumulate into a pile on one side versus laying in an organized manner. These are the things that really kind of bug me. So it's a personal preference, right? Also, the bag itself, okay, I know this is going to be, an unpopular opinion, but the bag itself reminds me of like an organ in your body. I don't know which organ, but it reminds me of an organ. And I also saw a photo of somebody wearing this with the bag kind of slung on their backside, almost like a backpack. And you would think it looked cute, but it looked like there was a mini shrunken harp like hanging off of her back. I don't know where I get these weird notions, but to me, it just doesn't look good. I do think it's a very kind of cool, interesting design, as I said, and it looks really interesting and cool on other people, but it's not going to work for me. I just know it, so I'm not even going to bother. Then we have the Chanel minis with the top handle. Super popular, so cute, now available in so many different colors, although almost always sold out, very highly sought after, and lots of YouTubers have been talking about this bag as well, and I get it, but I personally prefer the minis without the top handle. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like the top handle looks like it was just sort of last minute added on, like it doesn't belong there. I don't know why. There's nothing really wrong with the design, but it just feels like it was an afterthought. So I personally prefer the original minis without the top handle. I feel like it just looks simpler and cleaner and more classic, but that's my opinion. Let me show you my favorite mini. Any excuse to show you my favorite mini is a good excuse. And this one here is from the 21P collection, and I absolutely love it. It's in lambskin with the champagne gold hardware. Technically, if I wanted to carry this as a little top handle, I could actually restrict the chain on the inside and just have it at a certain length, and I could literally grab it like this, which is super cute. I've seen a lot of people do that. So this can be played around with. It's a bit versatile. So I don't know. I feel like the hard top handle is just unnecessary. And like I said, it just feels like an add-on that isn't working for me. Okay, then we've got the Yard Totes, and these are so popular. I see them all the time when I'm walking around. And I do love that it's very simple. It's a very simple design, and it's got a whole array of colors. So you've got a lot of options and different sizes. But you guys know, if you're regulars here, I'm really not a tote fan in general. Totes to me feel kind of dowdy and slouchy. And yeah, you want to tote around a lot of stuff, then you need a tote, right? But it doesn't feel like it pulls together an outfit, at least for me. For me, if I'm wearing a tote, it's just simply because I have to carry a lot of stuff. The Yard in particular, I don't love because it's quite slouchy. There's absolutely no structure to it. I've also heard that the wear and tear can be quite significant after some use. Now, for those of you who don't know, this patterning here is hand painted by the artisans, which is pretty cool, and probably also one of the reasons why Yard is quite expensive. So I loved when I understood that there was some craftsmanship and some uniqueness involved in this patterning. However, if it is indeed hand painted, then you know that eventually that paint is going to rub off or chip off or crack, because that's just what happens to paint. No matter if it's coated, over time and with use, it's going to start to break down. And I have heard from those of you who have Yard totes that it doesn't hold up as well as you would have liked. I have friends who are huge fans of Yard. I just am not myself. Then, of course, if we're talking totes, we have to talk about the most popular tote, which is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. And here I am, this is me, last summer, trying on a bunch of Neverfulls at your request. I had actually put up a poll on my Instagram, and an overwhelming majority of you asked me to just try out the Neverfulls before I say never, right? I always said I'm never going to get a Neverfull, and I have to say, after trying these on, I still stand firm by that. I enjoyed trying these on. I do think that they're very practical totes. I think they're extreme workhorses, meaning they're going to last you for ages. They're built really well to last. I tried on the monogram canvas one. I loved how light it was. I tried on the Empreinte and also the Epi. The Epi, I was surprised at how heavy it was. But in general, I don't like the tote look, so I'm not going to be adding this to my collection ever. Then let's move on to Fendi. This is one of their newest releases. I actually saw it in person last year, and it's called the Fendi First Bag. It's got a really architectural design, so I can understand how it's very sort of eye-catching. This is another bag that I think is very photogenic, meaning that it's made for influencers. It's made for the glam shots, for all the photographs, and for Instagram. From a practicality standpoint, I don't see how this is anything but a clutch. And a clutch is not for daily use. It's not very versatile. It's not something you can just grab and run around with. You have to grab it with both hands. You need both hands to open it and access it. You have to tuck it under your arm and make sure your arm is held tight so you don't drop it. So this is not practical enough for me, but I can see why it has become such a hyped item. Here we've got Sarah Jessica Parker, and she's wearing the new Balenciaga and Gucci collab design. This is their Hourglass bag. I think many of you would argue that this is a classic bag, an iconic bag, and I don't disagree. It has been around for a long time. It is very recognizable. I'll give you a close-up of this one here. I feel like the collab was really fun, really playful, but still I would not go for this bag in either this one or the classic black one. The black one in particular reminds me of Darth Vader. It reminds me of like half of Darth Vader's helmet. I don't know why, but I can't shake that image from my head. I also don't like how the ends are kind of pointy, which tells me that when you place the bag down over and over again, you're going to probably see excessive wear and tear on those sides. And I don't know, this design doesn't speak to me in any way, so I will not be adding this bag to my collection. Now this one, I know that I'm going to get a lot of heat for because it's a very, very popular bag from Louis Vuitton. It's the Alma. This is the Alma BB, which I tried on, but I personally am not a fan of any of the Almas in any size, any color, any fabric. And that is because I don't love the half moon shape. I don't love the zipper. The design itself, the look, the silhouette just doesn't speak to me. It never has. I don't love how the handles kind of jut out. And many of you have recommended this bag to me. In fact, of all of the bags that are recommended to me, this is the #1 most recommended. So many of you have asked me, why don't you own an Alma BB? It's so you. It's actually not for me. It's not. Like I said, the design, the silhouette doesn't speak to me. And I actually went and I tried them on because many of you were urging me to. And when I tried it on crossbody, I felt like it kind of fell awkwardly against my hip. The bottom here is wider, so it jutted out. The handles were kind of flopping, and was one handle was sort of rubbing against my body. The other one was sort of flopping. Opening the zipper was annoying. I needed 2 hands. And I have to show you, I have this one here. Oh, this is close. Let me move this out of the way. This is my cosmetic pouch in the PM size, and it has essentially the same exact silhouette as the Alma. It's got that wider base and it's got the half moon shape, right? So in this, for some reason, I love it. I just don't love it with the handles and the strap as a purse, okay? But this here, it tapers just like the Alma. And because it tapers, when you put too many items in or bulkier items, when you zip it up, it gets really wonky, the zipper, or it doesn't zip up properly. And this is the case with the bag as well. So I don't want a bag like that. That's too fussy for me. So for all of those reasons, the Alma is out. Here we've got another Louis Vuitton, very, very popular. It was hyped for a long time. I don't know if it's still as hyped, but this is the multi-pochette. I never loved this bag. It never grew on me. I think it looks really cool on certain people. I just can't imagine all these dangly pieces all over me. It would drive me crazy. I feel like it's kind of messy. I feel like the little circle pouch is not really useful and it's just there for the sake of being there. This doesn't work for me. And in general, anything that has a strap that has the brand name sprawled across it is not my cup of tea. So overall, this bag is not going to work. I have to also sort of joke because I've got the SLGs, right? So let me move this over. I literally feel like with the pochette accessoire, the mini pochette, and my coin purse, this is the Christmas animation from 2019, I could literally make my own multi-pochette with its own chain or its own strap. I could literally play around with this. To me, it's a bunch of SLGs stacked together. I know, if you have it and you love it, just ignore what I'm saying, but this is just not my vibe. Okay, again, Louis Vuitton, super popular right now. They're really pushing the Cuisine collection. And you've got here multiple different sizes in the crossbody, and it's all lambskin, right? So it's buttery soft, and it's got this sort of like cushiony look to it, and it's imprinted with monogram. And I love this fun green color. It reminds me of the Bottega green. I'm sure they were inspired. And this one here, it's the orchid color. I talked about this in the Louis Vuitton new releases video that I did a few weeks ago. This color is stunning. It's beautiful, but it's a novelty color for me. It's definitely not something that I would wear on a regular basis, so I probably will not be adding that. But this Cuisine collection, while I think it's definitely interesting and I like what Louis Vuitton is doing with the leathers, I feel a little bit skeeved out. I don't know if I can explain this properly. I feel a little bit skeeved out because it feels to me like, or it looks to me like thick, mushy skin imprinted. Does that make sense? Like if you take Play-Doh and you imprint it, it kind of reminds me of like skin, like thick thigh skin, for example, and then you imprint it. It's too, I don't know how to describe it. Does anybody understand what I'm saying? Anybody? Let me show you. I've got my Speedy Bb, and it's the very subtly imprinted monogram on lambskin, okay? I don't know why they made this a seasonal bag and it was discontinued so quickly. I love it so much. I much prefer this. It's very subtle. It's a little bit more discreet, and it's not like this thick, cushiony imprinted monogram. That part of it, the thickness and the imprint of it, I don't think I'm going to be able to explain it properly, but it kind of gives me goosebumps. It kind of creeps me out. So for that reason, I will not be getting anything from the Cuisine collection. Next up is Loewe. I do not own anything from Loewe, but I absolutely love the quality of their leathers, and I love this color. It's such a beautiful caramel. It reminds me of my Givenchy Antigona in the caramel color. It's just such a rich shade. I have heard so many good things about this Loewe puzzle bag in various different sizes. Some of you say that it's one of your most used bags, easiest bag to use, and I think that's great. I love the versatility of the top handle with the longer strap. However, I don't love the opening, and I've tried all of these in person. I've tried it on, I've tried playing with it in the stores, so I'm not just like, you know, just talking. I tried to fall in love with it, but the opening is a bit cumbersome for me. You see how there's like a little flap above it, so you kind of have to go under that flap and then put your fingers there and then pull the zipper pull. It's just annoying enough that it turned me away. Also, this sort of architectural design here with the lines, I think it's really cool, but it's not my personal cup of tea. Aesthetically, I prefer things that are a little bit more clean and also a bit more symmetrical. So the fact that this has asymmetrical lines and it's more pronounced, and by the way, this bag is a little bit more slouchy. For those reasons, I will not be buying it. All right, that is it. All 15 bags that I wanted to share with you, all very popular, still very popular, just not for me. I would love your thoughts. Do you own any of these bags? Do you love them? If so, what do you love about them? And if you're like me and you're staying away from these bags, and tell me why, because it's really interesting. There are so many different options out there, but we have our own personal style and aesthetic that we stick to, right? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.